boom, we'll start again. All right.
So let me see if I can paraphrase so I understand. So need some quiet space, probably up in the lighter corner up here.
Right, and talk to me about the color. So what does the color, like what does the color mean to you? Like what is it the color intended to portray?
I don't know. It seemed, I like black and white, but it just seemed blah as black and white. So,
Right.
and I did want to bring some, like a flower bouquet, like she's holding a flower bouquet. So I had a tiny one, but I didn't take a picture of it. And then I thought that's not enough. So it's both. Some of it's literal and some of it was just to pop some color in. And why that color? I don't know. I got the, an encaustic, it's like a cherry, and I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Anyway.
I mean, that's fine. I sometimes think it's kind of like a kid in the candy store. Like if you add one color, I feel like, you're often tempted to add more than one color. I think it's hard to just add one color to black and white. So I would probably add, and then if you add one more color, then you're like, oh God, I'm going to add one more color, right? So I was thinking,
well, I actually had added touches of green. It's a little hard to see.
Yeah.
In here and here.
Yeah. So right now, the way that red reads is that there's like flowers in the water around her, which I like almost like it's, like a lily pond or something like that.
Or algae kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Like things floating around in the water. And I think that's fine. I mean, you could add a little bit of yellow, which would just like warm it up, because I find I find that color red to be also what I'd call a cold color, where even though it's like red, it's not like a warm red.
Yeah.
Just a tiny little bit of yellow or even light brown could be nice, but you don't want to go too brown, like dark brown.
Right. I have a very, well, now should I do that with encaustic or Pam Pastel?
Pam Pastel. Yeah. So
okay. If I do a smoothing coat of wax over everything.
No, not over everything. Just not over everything.
Just over here?
Yeah, just over where you want a quieter space. And well, I don't know if you remember, I did a really good IGTV video on translucent glazing. Do you remember the translucent glazing?
Yeah, I do. I do.
So this is exactly when you need the translucent glazing. So what happens?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm going to just make myself bigger. So what I find that happens is that you kind of get everything like basically set up where you want it to be.
Right.
But then you feel like, because wax has texture and doesn't show off highlights and shadows very well, you kind of have competition between the areas, right? So how do you just gently, bring someone's eye to the focal point? Is that like almost like tilt shift, right? Or kind of like vignetting, right? So these are photographic techniques. Right. So basically, if you add another layer of clear wax, you could even do it like a circle. You could make an oval over the subject matter. You could do it 50-50, where you cover half the piece and you put encaustic medium on the upper half and let the bottom half be busy. You could do it, split it left side, right side. You could split it top and bottom. You could split it corners. So this is when you could take a piece of paper. Right?
Okay. I remember when you did that. I was just going to say, so like if I cut out an oval for her,
right,
and then do the translucent part.
Right. So she's like kind of long, but you could cut out any shape. I mean, and again, like some less specific to shape. I mean, it could be like this.
Okay.
Right? And this could be her head, like this. So this could just go over her, and then you're going to wax around this in a clear layer. It could be also slightly colored. It can be a very lightly colored translucent, it could be a very lightly colored translucent layer of any color. It could be that like a warmy light yellow. It could be
Okay.
a very light creamy color. It could be a nice like yellowy gray. Again, it's going to be so close to translucent. It's going to be very close to translucent.
Very
right?
subtle. So that,
Right.
so if I did that light yellow, that would be encaustic with a lot of wax medium to make it translucent.
It would be like 9-9-1.
Okay.
9-1. So mostly wax medium with a tiny bit of color. Right.
Okay,
Exactly.
So I'll test it on a test strip before I, well, so, but then the other thing would be, because this, in terms of texture, this is where I want to understand the pan pastels.
I'm gonna pin you again. I'm gonna pin you. Hold on.
What's that?
I'm gonna pin you. Go ahead. Pin you means make you the bigger picture.
Oh, okay. All right. So this area, this is all highly textured.
Right.
And I don't want to scrape it back because I like that texture.
Right.
So if I want to put a little pan pastel, just a little highlights of yellow or something, do I put the just clear, let's see, a clear medium on with a hake brush to try and smooth it out and then put the pan pastel on?
You could do that if you really, anytime that you go over a texture, either with wax, heat gun, or a razor blade, you're gonna possibly alter the texture. So you need to sort of just be open to a change. Like it's, it's not gonna be crazy severe, but it is going to change it, because if you're adding a heated layer of wax, something's gonna happen to the wax underneath, right?
Okay.
And if you scrape, something's gonna happen because you're scraping. And if you use the heat gun, right? So you kind of have to think like, I'm sure this happens for like athletes all the time, but they're like, this is my situation. What's my best move, right? Like, what am I best at? And so what's the most gentle? Like of those three processes, the most gentle one to kind of quiet an area down might be to add a little bit of wax medium on top.
Just a little bit. But I guess a part of this is I'm having trouble, with, it seems like the ideal is to have the texture, to see the texture but not feel it. So I keep wanting to smooth it, but then I get into trouble. So I'm just wondering.
Okay, so seeing texture and smoothing it only comes from scraping with the razor blade.
Oh.
So you have to be willing to, in my experience, to get that look, I feel like I have to be brave and I have to be willing to take chances. So I basically have to do like texture,
scrape it.
Texture, wax, like texture, wax, and then scrape back. Because what happens is if you have texture and wax, when you scrape back, you're showing the texture underneath. You're showing the second layer. So, so, and that's, so texture, I can demonstrate it if you want, but texture, wax, right? And then that's smooth. And then you're scraping back to see the texture underneath, but you're seeing it now as a smooth layer instead of a bumpy layer. Does that make sense?
I should practice that. So I'll
and
I don't want to mess up this. I love this texture. I don't want to totally lose that, but I'll play with it over in this area.
Well, right. And sometimes if you just love an area, you just have to let it go. You just have to leave it alone. Like, it's like if you love something, let it go. Like, and so there is a little bit of that. Like if you really love it, you probably shouldn't mess with it. Unless you feel 100% that you can add something else to it that's going to benefit it. Otherwise, just let it be, right? So again, like my only critique is I actually really like it. I just feel like you could add some wax medium to, you know, the top left
Calm it down. Okay.
to quiet it. And then you could use your pan pastels to, you know, based on how that looks after you quiet, you're going to want to maybe add some color, either a white or a white, yellowy white, or right to see, because that's sort of representative of the sky, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Or the lights coming
and
up.
do you still have the original photo? I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have the one that you made. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, let's see it.
Okay, hold on.
Let's see it. This is a good opportunity too to.
Let's see. Let me get it out. Hang on. That's that one. Oh, here. Okay, this is just black and white. Oops.
Okay, wait, I'm gonna make you the pin again.
I see when I
okay, so
black and white, there's a lot more texture, you know, in the black and white that I think I was fighting against it. So
well, right. Also, there's this really beautiful element of lace coming off her shoulder. I think you should add that back to the painting. Also, in this one, the right side is rocks and light, and the left side is actually dark. I think we should go back to the original photo.
Yeah.
I think we should go back to the original photo. So hold up your piece again.
Oh, I put it in the wrong place. I put the light in the wrong place then.
Yeah, you put the light in the wrong place.
Yeah.
So technically, also, I think we should scrape back her feet a little bit.
Even more?
Yeah, can you see her feet? I can't really see.
No, I can't. But in this one, in this one, you know, I think I won't mess with this one except for the suggestions you made, but I do want to start it again because I have two of these now.
Okay.
So I want to start it again. Whoops, is that, no, she's
it's upside down, yeah.
So I want to, I'll look at the lights, so follow the photograph. Like you said, I'll learn from the photograph. So
yeah.
And I think the other thing I'd like to do is to mix the wax medium with the pure beeswax and try to down here and try to get that watery look that I showed you with the
pan pastels.
Yeah, the one. Yeah, I just love what was happening there. So I want to see if I can do that with water. So I want to finish up what you told me about this one that we've been playing with.
Okay.
And then start again.
Okay.
And just learn from the first one. Yeah.
Okay. And now are you going to mount that one to a substrate?
Yeah. I actually got some more mounting boards. So.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in good shape. Yeah. So that would be great. I want to clean this one up, you know, make it more integrated, and and then I'll move and start all over again, which is what you said, to make 3 copies. And
well, at least, I mean, it's amazing to me that people expect to get it right the first time. And I mean, I'm working, I don't get it right the first time. I mean, I might get something, but I mean, you know, if I continue to work on the same piece more than one time, there's a lot of possibilities, right? I mean, and I always like to talk about Andy Warhol. I mean, he was the master of possibilities. You know, he didn't really give a rat's, you know what, about content. That wasn't what his work was about. It was about variations of a theme and repetition and changing color combinations, you know, and it was sort of like oversimple in a way. I think he was actually like so sarcastic and sort of making fun of artists and artistry, you know, by saying like, hey, I can take this thing and just make a silk screen and then make all these different color combos, and they're all beautiful and they're all interesting. And I'm so, you know, because I'm clever. He was clever, right? So, you know, thinking about I think photographers was so often driven by content, like content, like searching for it, getting more, you know, climbing the higher mountain, getting a better model, finding a prettier location, right? But when you're painting on it or doing like mixed media stuff, I think that the content becomes less important
Right.
and
Yeah.
actually what you're doing with the content. So
Mhm.
all of the layers, all of the color choices, all of the texture choices, and the variations of those actually is what like makes the work more interesting.
Yeah.
There's a woman that I've been working with in Canada who also works just really with black and white,
Mhm.
and like tones of white. So like
Wow.
off-white, cream, you
Wow.
know, shades of gray. And her stuff is really beautiful. It's very feminine. You might really like her work, and I can send you her name. Her name is Eleanor Boutier. She has a very French Canadian name.
Boutier.
Yeah, I think it's Boutier. Eleanor. I'll send you
Okay.
her. I'm just writing myself a note. Okay, so
Great.
what do you want to do today? We have
Well,
another.
what I'd like to do, hang on. What I want to do is, I don't want to work on this today, but I want to be working towards this today.
Okay,
My
I'm gonna put you on the pen.
ideal would be to have pan pastel flowers down here.
Okay. Okay, so let's work on that. So do you want to practice? Do you want to practice?
Well, so I got some 8x8 boards,
Okay.
and I had the pan pastels. It's just I'm not comfortable using them. I
Right.
mean, I've tried. So that's what I would like to do today, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
Okay.
that's great. So I'm just waiting for my wax to melt, but if your wax is melted, you can go ahead and, do you have encaustic gesso?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So what I'd like you to do is actually just do like a sample. Oh wait, hold on one second. I want to show you something. Hold on one second.
Okay.
So I taught all weekend on Zoom, all day Saturday, all day Sunday.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I taught.
Old?
What?
Does it get old?
It actually was weirdly, yeah, it was very mentally draining for me, but it was also oddly physically draining. Like there's something about holding my head and the headphones and like being like locked, like literally there's just my body, like I'm pretty active and I'm still pretty fit, but if I hold my body in one place for a long time, I get like a certain type of like muscle exhaustion. It's weird. It's weird. So, but my neck, I really hurt my neck. Like I felt like when I woke up Monday, I couldn't even move my head. It was so bizarre. But I think it was good. I mean, I did make this piece though. I wanted to show you. So I divided this.
Oh, I love it. Oh,
right.
Yeah.
So I divided it up into thirds. Okay.
Okay.
So, and we could do this. We could do this again. So this one,
perfect.
this side, I did gesso and burning. That's all that's all this is gesso, burning. And then I put tar. Remember the tar? Right. This one is wax medium, stencil flowers, and pan pastel.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And this one is encaustic gesso, wax medium, pigment stick, and pan pastel. So I kind of wanted to just get people to start thinking about like different techniques and how and then I literally I wrote it down, right? So you could write it on the back, like this and draw it with a rule. You could say this third is encaustic gesso, burning, wax, tar, right? So 4 things, right? And here and then this one is encaustic gesso, wax, stencil, pan pastel. And then this one is encaustic gesso, wax medium, pigment stick, pan pastel.
Well, actually, I'm writing it down, but when I look at the thing, I'll write it. Yeah, after I'm just writing in pencil.
I'm
but-
gonna does it save the, do you see the chats? I mean, so okay, so it's like and these combinations are so interesting. They're almost like mathematical equations. Like I always joke because I'm really terrible at math. Like I really think math is fascinating, but like I'm only good like step 1, step 2, step 3, and then I'm like out. I'm just out. I'm just like, no way, I'm done. Like it's not that interesting. I'm over it. I can't stay. But with this, it's like kind of like these little mathematical formulas.
Yeah.
So okay, so it's like wood. I'm just gonna type one up. Wood, and I'm gonna use the plus sign, right? So it's wood plus encaustic gesso plus wax medium plus I did a tar, right? And
I
then
don't have tar. I've had trouble getting the tar.
that's fine. We'll just use I'll just put in parentheses or pigment stick. Same thing.
Okay, I have a brown pigment stick.
Yeah,
okay.
same thing. And then we could say minus, right? Scratches, right? Or drawing, right? So that's incising, right? So, but I say minus because you're not adding, you're taking away, right? And then plus, right? And then you can go back to plus pigment stick, right? So again, it's like some of these, and you can, so there's an example. I just chatted you, right? So wood plus encaustic gesso plus wax medium plus tar or pigment stick minus scratching, right? And then back plus pigment stick. So some of these things can be like repeated as if it's a patterning.
Yeah.
And you can go forwards and then back, right? And then there's always scraping, which is a minus technique, right? Which is a minus, right? Taking away, right?
Okay.
So
great. This would be really good.
Okay, so another example is wood. I'll just type up another one. Wood plus encaustic gesso plus wax medium, right? And then plus stencil, and then minus with the scraping.
Wait, right? I'm not seeing, it's not coming up on the chat. Oh, I get you'll have to.
Yeah, I have to put, and then plus pan pastel. I mean, you can make these up. You can make up your own, right? You could write, it's like making up a shopping list. Like you could just write your own and then do it and then see how you like it, you know, and then sort of start to covet or save the techniques of the looks that you like. And then like remember them. And then what will start to happen is that you will no longer need to even remember them. They will just become part of your intuitive practice, right? They'll just become part of your workflow. And then the flow chart of them will just continue to get like longer and more complicated, and maybe more minuses and then more pluses and then more minuses. Like I can't tell you how many times I've gone like major subtraction, you know, like just been like, I hate everything I just added and it's going nowhere for me. I see nothing. I'm out. Just like heat and boom, like I'm out, you know? And then but luckily, because we're starting with these photographs underneath, we always have an origin. We always have like a return point, like a home base, right? So we can kind of live, like, I think we as photographers and encaustic artists can live a little bit more confidently than just encaustic painters, because they're coming from scratch and really counting on their ability to form composition, to use color properly, to use shape, to use tech. It's really a lot. It's like a lot that you have to get right for this shit to look good, you know? So I'm always like, okay, well, I got my trick in my back pocket, right? But again, the challenges of using the photograph you've seen, which are how to get the wax hole, all that part to look good with the photo and to match the mood. And, you know, because sometimes you could put layers on it that like, it's almost like having two dialects at the same table. Like they're there and they're talking, but they don't understand a word. You know, there's no there's no connection. There's no connection, right? So it's all about connection, right? So, and I thought it was really interesting that these three actually like looked good together. Like I was like, that was
you.
well, no, but that was like, that was not my intention at all. Like, but I do think it's interesting how they do look good together. So that was fun. I mean, that's only a bonus when anything like that. All right, so we could do this together, or I can do it too.
That'd be
okay.
fun.
Okay, let me get a board. Hang on one second. Okay. Okay, so I got a board. And I'm going to divide mine just like we said, right? So 1/3 is going to be plain, right? And then the other 2/3 are going to have encaustic gesso on them. Oh, and wait, one's going to have encaustic gesso on it. Hold on, that's not true. Hold on, wait. Okay, one, I'm going to illustrate sort of a form that I can make with encaustic gesso. So I'm going to take a stencil.
Okay, you want me to get a stencil?
Yeah, get a stencil. You're going to need, listen, you're going to need wax medium, encaustic gesso, a stencil, pigment stick, and pan pastel, and a tool, a scraping tool. I'm also going to take a second and I'm going to invite my other device to this meeting. Hold on. I'm going to put my phone on this.
Stencil. It's too small. Okay, I found the stencil.
Okay. Oh shit, wait, hang on. Why?
I'm softening my brush.
I'm feeling so like tech savvy these days.
Yeah, you really, I guess.
Yeah, I know, right? Not that I ever wanted to be. Not that I ever
No.
cared, but
But you
necessity.
know, it's funny how we learn what we need to learn to do, you know, get what we want to get. Ugh.
Yeah, true that. All right, so
This
here's
is-
my tabletop. Okay, here's my tabletop. Okay.
Okay. Mhm.
So, and here's my, I'm gonna just move that. I don't need this. I teach a watercolor class. All right.
I have the pigment sticks and acoustics on another table, but I can get them easily. So
That's fine. That's fine. I'm just. It's hard for me. I'm getting better at knowing where the view is, right?
oh right, because you've
It's
got
hard.
the
Well, it's hard to know
there.
exactly. Yeah, it's hard to know exactly where the.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just gonna put.
Ooh, look at that. Oh, I love that stencil. Ooh.
Well,
cool.
right, but this stencil's cool. So this stencil's cool because it was like probably the most boring generic stencil in the world, but I cut it, right? So
Yeah, I can see
right,
that.
so
Yeah.
I cut
Yeah.
it. I ripped it and cut it. Now it's beautiful, right? Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is encaustic gesso, and I'm gonna do, if I can open it. Okay, I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it with a brush.
Okay.
Or you could do it with a sponge. I mean, whatever. I'll do it with a.
Actually I have sponges. I'd rather do that. Okay.
Well,
Really nice.
yeah, carefully.
It's kind of strange. I have to.
Okay.
Oh, so you're not daubing it. You're
No, I'm dabbing it. I mean,
no.
yeah, I put a lot on there. I mean, you could dab it more like this.
Okay.
So you can dab it. I mean, you can dab it. This stencil's a little loosey goosey because it is ripped, right? So,
Okay.
and I'm never that worried about this being too perfect.
I know.
Not, I really am not.
And you make it look good.
I mean, it either will or it won't. You know, like it's very mediocre, right? But it can get better. If I wanted it to be better, I could. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do, and this could be totally, you know, however you want it. You don't have to do, you know, all of it, all of the board. You could do parts. So you don't have to go all the way to the top. Like you could do whatever you wanted, right?
Okay.
So do you see how I didn't? Right, and the difference is just painting on wood, right? And then painting like on a neutral kind of beigey color versus painting on bright white, right?
Okay.
Versus, and then when we start to burn it, then of course you're talking about like a dark black, right? And you can also tint your gesso with, right? But if you're working with photos, Pam, a lot of this isn't even gonna like, if you're working with photos, a lot of this isn't even gonna matter, right? Because, but you could, this is an interesting idea for you, is you could start thinking, and you have done this, about making the photos smaller than the panel, right? And if you make the photos smaller than the panel, then you can use the empty space to do some cool artsy techniques, right? We call them artsy techniques. All right. So next I'm gonna grab my torch. Now I could also I'm gonna grab my torch.
Okay, I don't have a torch, but I can borrow one, but I won't be able to do it today, but that's I will get one.
That's fine. I like the torch. You can use the heat gun, same thing. It's no problem. Don't worry.
Oh, really? I could burn it with the heat gun?
Yeah, let me.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Hang on. I'll try my heat.
I dumped by accident, I dumped the gesso, but that's okay. I'm spreading it out.
That's okay.
there's a young woman. She's like 15 years old, but she's an incredible sculptress.
Wow.
And she's been doing it. Yeah, she just had her grandfather was an artist, and I mean, you can just see so natural. Anyway, so I can run over and borrow the torch from her.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, she's like a neighbor.
Oh yeah, she's right across the street.
Oh, that's
Yeah, easy.
awesome. Oh, awesome.
I know.
All right, so I'm just drying this with the heat gun.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to burn the wood. I mean, maybe if I stay here long enough.
So we dry. I put it on the gesso on really thick. Okay, because it's built. I call my street the circus street because we have aerial dancers and sculptors
Oh, I
and
love
dancers. Oh, it is. It's great. Oh, and fire dancers. Oh my gosh.
What?
It's so much fun.
That
Okay.
sounds so artsy. That sounds so fun.
It is fun.
That's
It's
great.
a lot of fun.
Definitely. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and use my torch because I don't have the patience for that heat gun.
Okay.
But and really, all I'm showing you by doing this is that having a dark background is an option, right? So again, like you could use black. You can make your gesso black, right? So they're just ways to. Sort of,
oh, I see how you do. Oh, cool. Wow. So you're even torching some of the other sides too, wherever there's wood. Okay.
Yeah, wherever there's wood, right?
Yeah. Now with the gesso, you can see the lines, you know, kind of where I was spreading it on. Does that matter?
No, you're gonna go over.
Okay. Ooh, bubbling up a little bit. Okay. Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, I love it. I love this process.
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and use the wax medium.
Okay, I'm turning it on again. I can't run both things together or I break a circuit.
Oh yeah, I totally understand.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so but the wax is still hot. Okay, and how thick is it a hake brush?
Yeah, I'm going to use a hake brush. So I'm going to go just in stripes, right? I'm just going to use a 2-inch hake brush and I'm just going to go in stripes. So I'm just going to go right over this, right? And then you could practice any of those brush strokes.
Oh, with black.
No, this is clear. This is wax medium. The black is
But
burnt.
it's turning. Why is it turning black?
Because I burned the wood.
That was so wherever some of it's brown where you burned it. Oh, okay.
It just looks black. It's really dark brown. And then I could switch brushes, right? I could switch brushes to a different type of brush, right? So I can use a smaller brush. I did the hake brush. I got smooth texture, right? Then I can use this one and I could do more text. This is a little bristle brush. And this is
I'll get the bristle brush.
So I can do more textured, right? I can do more textured, right? More textured. And then I could use either more textured, or I could use a smaller hockey brush. I mean, you can decide, right? So I can do,
On the last third.
right.
Okay.
And this one had some paint in it, right? So I have an underpainting here. This one had a little bit of paint in the brush, so it's kind of, it was dirty. Okay, now I should fuse these, right? I should fuse this. Fuse it. All right, I'm going to fuse it. Now that kind of smoothed it out, right? So because it's such a small piece and I fused it kind of like just smoothed all my brush strokes out, which is fine. I do have quite a few little air bubbles here. So if I wanted to get rid of the air bubbles, I could just take a razor blade and very lightly like smooth out the bubbles. I can also do as many coats of wax medium here as I wanted, right? Please don't ever feel like you have to get it right with one coat of wax medium, right? So you really can
So is it better to do like a light coat, several light coats?
You can do as many coats of wax medium as you want, textured or smooth. You can do wax medium, 4 or 5 coats just before you even get started, right?
Okay.
I mean, it's
you were
really
talking to me one time about the pour method, and you said that was like 4 or 5 equivalent.
It's equal, yeah, it's equal, right? And the right? If we were gonna equivalate or equivocate, or yeah, we would say that probably that's equal to 4 or 5 coats of brushed and fused layers of wax medium, right?
I see one huge bubble here. I'll just scrape off.
Right, you can scrape it off, right? So we can make one side like super smooth with a razor blade. Then we could always add more wax medium, right? So I can do, just for argument's sake, I'm gonna take the hockey brush. I'm gonna do another coat like right here in the middle, right?
Okay.
So just sort of, and I could do a little bit more over here. And remember, when we add more wax medium, especially over a photo, we're doing what to the photo?
We're making it less depth of field.
Right, blurry. We're making it blurry. Just blurry. We're making it less in focus. So the more wax,
now,
the less.
I'm not doing the left side because I haven't burned. I have not putting wax on because I haven't burned it yet. So, but when I torch it, then I'll put the wax on that side.
Okay, that's fine. So we can focus on the other 2 sides. I'm just gonna try to get rid of these. I don't know why I'm getting so many. Okay, so let's do a Pam pastel. So let's do a stencil. Let's use the same stencil we used underneath. Did you do a stencil? Did you do a stencil with the wax?
I didn't do a stencil. I did oh wait, I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay, hang on. So I did a stencil. Oh no, I didn't do a stencil with the wax. I did
the gesso. You did
a stencil on
the encaustic gesso.
But should I put a stencil on one of these now?
Yeah, let's do a stencil in
wax stencil.
Yeah, let's do a wax stencil. So you could choose to do a color
stencil
in the middle. In the middle.
Okay.
Now you can do a colored wax stencil, or you could do a wax clear. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'd like to do a color.
Okay, so you can do a colored wax stencil, and you could do any color. You could do any color, any color. Total. You can do that red one that you like. You can do any color.
So this is the encaustic wax, not pigment stick, right? Get that on.
This is wax. Right? Yeah, wax. I want you to use wax, either wax medium or encaustic wax.
Okay, so the color, I put the color on, and then I put a little bit of the medium on to make it more.
Yeah. So we could do a bright color. We could do like are you gonna do red?
Yeah, I've got that little cherry red. It's like boysenberry.
I'm gonna do like
very clear. Maybe I'll make it a little darker.
So I'm gonna do like a turkey red, like a dark red.
Yeah, I noticed you're using more of the red.
Yeah, that turkey red. Yeah, I like that. It's Thanksgiving time. It's turkey red.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, red is not my thing. Yeah, red Red is not
Yeah.
usually.
I was surprised when I saw you were posting some things and it was red. And I thought, oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
I know, right? It is. Well,
Okay,
we're-
still could be a little darker.
we got to change a little bit, right? Sometimes. Okay, and then you can make it darker or lighter, and you can also do a gradient as you go. So you don't have to do you don't have to do the stencil all one color, right?
Okay, that's cool. All right.
And it can overlap a little bit into the other side. So again, like, and you can mix the pigment sticks with your wax medium. And you can blot it or brush it, right?
Okay.
Okay, so here's my stencil. I did do like red.
Oh, wow, I love it. Oh, that's gorgeous.
I did a little bit of red at the top.
Okay. Let's see, a little bit more, lighten it up a bit. Okay. Oh, I love that stencil. Oh, it's gorgeous.
So I'm gonna pull it up. Oh, my stencil broke. Okay, so that's okay. Kind of fell apart. All right, so then we can decide if we want to fuse this, right? Very gently. We can fuse this very gently.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make sure it's gonna stick onto the wax, right?
Okay.
So you just want to, you don't want to get rid of it, but you just want to make sure that it's you just don't want it to fall off.
Mm-hmm.
So just zap it. Just zap it. Okay.
Okay. All right, let me
So that's what mine.
And I'll get over here. Plug in. Oh, I have to turn this off when I'm getting the heat gun. Okay, so let's see if I can get it off. Woo! Well, oh, you know, some of the gesso, I use the same
Let me
stencil,
see.
some of the gesso, but
Okay, hold it up for me. Let me see.
a second, let me.
Yeah, mine did too. Some of the gesso came off, but I like it. Oh yeah, nice. Okay, beautiful. Love it. Love it. Okay, so now we can decide if we're going to add any other wax medium over top of any part of the stencil, right? So why would we add wax medium over the stencil? To what? Quiet down the texture.
Smooth it, yeah.
So
Quiet it, yeah.
All right, so I'm going to
And
get
smooth it so.
Right, so I'm going to smooth down this part right here. So I'm just going to put this is wax medium, right? And I'm just going to go over it where I want the texture to be smoother, right? So this is where we go over texture to smooth it and integrate it. So we can kind of, again, we're picking and choosing what is important, right?
Yeah.
So I'm quieting these, I'm quieting these down, and I'm making this the most important thing. Okay, so I'm using the wax to go around the important thing and over the unimportant things. And then you should just fuse that very lightly real quick, right?
This isn't doing so hot. Let's see if we want to do this. Of course, I'm 10 steps behind you.
That's okay. You can have the video too.
Exactly. The videos, I can't tell you, they are so helpful. I mean, I think I'm getting it when we're doing it, but I miss stuff. And
it's great. And it's great that you can take them in pieces. Okay, so we're going to talk about 2 more things, and then I have to run right at 12 o'clock. So
yeah,
the next thing I'm going to do is incising. So I have a whole little box of incising tools. Like I have a little like fabric stabber. I have like knitting needles, right? I have all kinds of things to make holes. So what I'm noticing right here is I have these cool circles. So I'm going to kind of like think about, I'm going to kind of like go for my circles, right? So I'm gonna kind of like keep these circles spiraling up here. Do you see how they're, and these are where I can put.
Oh, I lost you.
I know,
lost
hold
your,
on, hold on. Okay, so these are where I can put in size, right? So incising means that I can like draw. So I could kind of go back even to like this original, you know, stencil here and kind of draw around it too, right? So you can go outside line, kind of make it interesting, like go around the outside, outside line
So
of the stencil. So I like to take this time before I add the next layer to do some drawing into the wax.
Okay, and you're doing it on both sides, both
I am. I'm
thirds,
doing
the-
it. Yeah, I'm doing it on the I'm doing it on the left over here, and I'm gonna do it in the middle,
Okay.
right? So I'm just kind of like emphasizing some of the pattern that the stencil gave me. And I could do some circles here just for fun, right? I can also do holes, like the back of a paintbrush can be good, you know, like
Bigger holes. Okay.
yeah, like little, almost like rivet. Like I always think of them as like rivet holes. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna do, I want to get to one pan pastel thing. So in order to do a good pan pastel stencil, you have to have a flat surface.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot do a good pan pastel stencil if your surface is not flat, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna do one here. So I most of this piece is fairly bumpy. So I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna scrape, yeah, I'm gonna scrape with a razor blade. I'm gonna make, and again, now this might look textured, but it's gonna be smooth because I'm scraping it with the razor blade, right?
Uh-huh.
So it's gonna be pretty flat and smooth. I'm removing this wax.
Mm.
And I'm gonna do I'm gonna do the same stencil I've been using the whole time, right? I'm gonna just use the same stencil again. And it's nice and smooth. So I'm gonna do a pan pastel stencil. So I'm gonna put it it here. Now let's pick a color. What color do you think? What color do you want?
Red with
A red? I have orange. You want orange?
yeah, let's say it's, as you said, it's Halloween.
I have orange, or I have green.
Yellow.
I have purple.
Not with the red. Ooh.
I have yellow.
I didn't get any of those. Wow.
All right, how about we do yellow and orange together? Or I could do this, or the terracotta. Okay.
No, not with the red. Nah, yellow and orange.
Okay, so I'm gonna use.
Okay.
So this is like a little applicator.
Oh, so you put it directly on, because I was trying to do it with my fingers.
No, I don't think the pan pastels, you really got to get a lot. I'm gonna use a sponge. This is a sponge.
Okay. Cool. So you're using the stencil. It's not like you, because I was thinking, I don't know how to do I don't know how to draw a flower. How am I going to do this with my fingers? This is really good. Thank you. Yeah, this is perfect.
So there it is. It's very light, but there it is, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's very soft.
It's very soft. So then you have to fuse that right away.
Okay.
Right? You have to fuse that right away. Now the other thing you can do, because that'll make it stick on there, right? Okay. The other thing you can do is put the same pigment, the pan pastels, over this stencil. So it'll just hit the it'll just hit the outside edges, right?
Right.
Now,
just the raised stuff.
Just the raised stuff, right? See how it just hits it?
This is cool. Yeah.
Now you can go a little bit like in here too, right? And around the
Mhm.
outside edge, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay. So I think we're gonna have to stop there. It's 12 o'clock on the
You have to
news.
run.
But
This
if
is
you,
perfect,
okay,
Leah.
and then we'll continue with this. We'll continue with this.
Yeah.
I'll keep this one for you.
Yeah. So
And
send me the link.
I
mean,
will.
I'll do some more today, but then I'll look at the link for the pen pastel. Okay.
Right, but look how nice the purple looks.
That's
Actually,
gorgeous.
with
Oh
the
yeah,
out-
it just pops
with-
it up.
right,
Yeah.
with the outside edge, right? Okay. All
Uh-huh.
right, this is your piece. I'll put it to the side.
Thank you.
Sorry to
Okay.
run. I will see you
No,
soon.
I
Have
get
a great
it. I
day.
understand.
Have a great day.
All right, you
Vin.
too.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.